But I remember after I started working, man, felt like I was doing a pretty good job. And I got an opportunity to work in what I thought was the all-star team at the company I work for. I'm an engineer. And that all-star team, I worked very hard to be a part of. And I remember it was back in the 2009-ish, almost 2010. And I remember I raised my hand and they said, where do you want to work next? Because you've done a very good job. We want to put you exactly where you want to be. And the management was very supportive. And they said, yeah, where do you want to be? I said, I want to be on that team. And so then, a week before I was going to move, I got a message from my manager saying, sorry, we're not moving you there. We're moving you to work in Southeast Oklahoma. And I said, Southeast Oklahoma, that's not all-star team, man. What happened? And actually, I was pretty gutted. I was very disappointed. And I even said to my boss, who did I upset? Clearly, I made somebody angry, and they're paying me back for it. Not long after I moved, my wife called me and said, turn on the TV. She said the Deepwater Horizon's on fire. And so the team that I was planning to join, that was the all-star team. And I'll tell you what, I told a friend of mine this week that story, and he said, I watched the movie and I know exactly which character would have been you. Because I would have been on the ring that night. Thank the Lord I didn't get what I wanted. What did it teach me? God is not only forever, He knows what's best. He's wise. He knows where we need to go. So after that, remember, I moved to Southeast Oklahoma to work. And I was working on a project called, it was a horizontal well development. Now, what is a horizontal well? You know, normally you drill a well straight down. Why in the world would you want to go that way? And so what we were told to do was basically drill down and then sideways. And just to give you the scale of it, imagine there was a basketball hoop, not that one, but on I-10. The job there was to design wells that I would be able to hit a basketball hoop on I-10 from here. So I was learning specific skills. Now at the time I just figured it was work, but I learned how to drill those type of horizontal wells. Then after that, again, didn't know what was going next in my career, but I then ended up moving to Trinidad. And while I was in Trinidad, long story short, there was a project there where you not only had to drill horizontally, you had to not drill from here to I-10, you had to drill from here to 59 and Beltway 8. It was very long, and they didn't have the technology and the knowledge how to do it there. And they said, Ivan, you've done this before, can you help us? I was like, well, I guess I got the skill. Yeah, I'll try my best. Again, it was successful. Then there was a layoff at the company. Big layoff. And again, I didn't know where I was going next. They basically were telling people in Trinidad, find your way home. Apply for a job. And I was like, what are you talking about? I thought I worked for this company. Well, you know, hard times, Ivan. So I just prayed and said, Lord, where do I go next? So then I ended up in a very small cubicle on an almost empty floor for about 2 months in Houston. And it was fascinating because I got a call one day and they said, you're coming to the Gulf of Mexico. I felt like I was in the NBA draft. You know, when they pick up the phone, they're like, you just got picked up by the Indiana Pacers? I was like, yes, thank the Lord, I got a job. You know, I didn't plan to be there. I actually didn't want to go there. But I ended up there. 2 years later, guess what they asked for? You know, we've heard about horizontal wells in the Gulf of Mexico, but we think it's impossible. Can you help us? I said, well, yes, I can. Actually, I was pretty arrogant about it. I said that, I can land a 747 inside that zone. Lord, forgive me. I felt like David saying, of course I can slay that giant, when others were saying they couldn't. So then, it turned out to be a success. Everyone was shocked. They were like, we didn't think that was possible. So then again, I'm wondering, like, where do I go next? Because guess what? Another layoff was coming. So then, and COVID was hitting. And I remember then I got another call saying, hey, would you come work in this special team focused on transformation? I've never done that before, but I'll be happy to do that. And then they told me why they wanted me there. They said, we want you here because of that horizontal well you did in the Gulf of Mexico. That's why we want you here.
Amen.
You're a perfect fit.
Amen.
I serve a perfect fit. I serve a perfect God.
Amen.